Night of Destruction number 2, August 30th, 2014, continuing with the low budgets at Irwindale Speedway. Tommy, a packed house in the stand.
Completely jam-packed. They had to put the sold out sign up on the freeway sign just to tell everybody that was coming late. There's no place for you to park, and there sure is no place for you to sit.
We're getting ready to go, Tommy. We just got done with the Enduro. We had a little bit of a break that happened during this time. What happened was they first had an open comp race, which is a 3rd mile race, and they were brave to go after the Enduro.
Yeah, exactly.
And
but
then
I never heard of any tire pops and nothing like the last time. So.
That's right. And then on top of that, there was also the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, where we had, I heard 200 fans participate in this.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool to see, and everybody got doused by a water truck, of all things. So that is probably the biggest Ice Bucket Challenge in one setting with all those people at the same time.
Last year, the October event that we did, that event had some problems with cameras. That left me with the absolute determination to not have a problem again. The first Night of Destruction of this year, it didn't go as smoothly as I hoped. Going into this event, I had everything mapped out. This is when we'll do this, when we'll do this. And I'd say it worked. We set up all the wall cameras during this ALS Ice Bucket Challenge that was going on. So Tommy and I are on track in cars that we don't regularly drive.
Yep.
You were in a very beautiful
I was in a
Volvo.
Nice station wagon Volvo, and you were in the car that you have driven.
Never.
I was gonna say you might have driven it across the pits, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in an Oldsmobile.
Yep.
So we're getting ready for auto soccer. Our teammates. Let's talk a little bit about the teams first. Pick your part.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about wily old veterans? How about Robert Rice himself leading the team? Team Pick Your Part. So we're up against Robert Rice, who has years and years of experience doing auto soccer, and then his two teammates, who I believe one of them's done it before, and the other one, Robbie, I don't know if he has ever done it. So Jim and Robbie are the other 2 cars, and they're driving tanks compared to what we're going to be driving.
We go into this event hoping that both the Oldsmobile that I'm driving and the Volvo you see Tommy driving, which, real quick, I'll say, Tommy wasn't scheduled to drive that car. You were actually going to be in Shayla's car. Yep. Shayla was going to be in the Volvo, but at the last second, Shayla noticed there was something still in the steering wheel.
She went to go honk the horn. She honked the horn, everything worked, and then she realized there's this airbag in between the steering wheel. So that's when she bolted over to me and said, "You get in it." So I had, out of the 2 of us, I have the full face helmet. So in case anything were to pop in front of my hands, I had some protection.
So that's one little change up that we have for auto soccer camera-wise. We don't have an in-car camera for Tommy, but we do have an in-car camera for Shayla driving the car you were going to be driving.
Yep.
Which was her trailer car. It's a whole jumbled up mess, but it basically came down to which car has spare tires. It was Shayla's.
Exactly.
I'm in this Oldsmobile, but I also know that Keith Johns, you mentioned him already, he has plans on running this car, if it's still good, after auto soccer, he's gonna run in the trailer race. So, talking about teams, I would guess we're at a fairly big disadvantage at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the things we knew at one point leading up to this event. We were planning on running our trailer race vehicles in this auto soccer, and for the whole strategy leading up to the auto soccer, whether or not they were our cars or not, which 2 out of 3 weren't, they belonged to the track. So we knew that we were gonna have to take it easy. We had to take it easy because these cars, no matter what they are gonna be used again later on, either that night or later on in the year. We just wanted to play. They gave us the opportunity to play with them, and so we're gonna do it again. We've played against Pick Your Part before. Yep. We're gonna play with them tonight and see how we fare. We know that we're at a disadvantage, but we're gonna give it a hell.
A 400-pound soccer ball and 6 cars going at it, 3 versus 3. It's auto soccer time, Night of Destruction number 2. So do you remember everything we said about keeping those cars in one piece?
Oh man.
Do you recall any of that?
For the first 5 minutes.
I didn't even know if it lasted that long.
Yeah.
Auto soccer is complete. I think we lost like what, 7-2 or something.
We lost a miserable game of
They
auto
scored.
soccer.
They scored it. It was basically watching Brazil play soccer again.
Yeah, all the hype leading up to it. But no, we did horrible. But that came at no surprise for us. But it was fun. I guess that's what I can think out of it.
It was funny. I heard the fans got a big kick out of it. Tommy, I guess let's talk a little bit about how your soccer game went.
Okay. Well, be it short and sweet, I had a station wagon Volvo that got hit in the wheel the first hit, and then tossed around a few other times. And at that point, I didn't know if I was doing something wrong or what, but I was kind of getting ticked off during that auto soccer game, and I was just getting shoved around out there. I was doing stupid things, and I was like, you know what? This car, I'm gonna try to make it survive, but then it got hit a few more times, and the throttle cable broke, and I was done. I was
broke the throttle cable.
I was stuck in the center of the goal.
Yeah.
With a broken throttle
My
cable.
favorite part was I look over and I just see Tommy like,
I had 2 flat front tires, a broken throttle cable.
that car was done.
A car that wouldn't go into gear. The transmission had busted or something. I was trying to get it through gears. The best thing that could have happened was the throttle was stuck wide open, because I would have still played.
Well,
But,
good news for you, the airbag didn't go off.
no, it didn't go off. And I got to thank Keith Johns for that. Believe it or not, he came down in a split second while we were down there. And when we had mentioned the airbag issue, he had pulled out the fuse box and I believe undone the airbag relay switch. Now, how is the auto soccer for you?
Well, Tommy, I guess you could sum it up in a couple ways. A, the rear bumper that my car holds the hitch for Keith Johns is dragging on the ground.
Yep.
So he has a little bit of work to do if he's going to make that happen.
Hopefully he can. I know he's got some really cool idea of a trailer that I know he really wants to do. So
yeah.
It's now in his hand in a way.
Yeah, but knowing him, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it fixed.
Of course.
But on top of that, my front end grill's also ripped off the car. Now,
Tore it up.
the fun.
And I wonder how.
I wonder who. When you go into an event and your biggest goal is to not wreck your car, how much better could it be than to actually wreck your car into your teammate? I drove into Tommy's passenger door because I'm watching the. Remember we were talking about not paying attention in the enduro?
It continues.
Well, it continued. I'm watching the soccer ball and all of a sudden I look forward and boom! I hit this guy. Then later in the event, he's in reverse. He takes off my grill.
Oh man!
And we were going nuts. But Tommy, like you said, there was a look. I wouldn't say so much frustration on my end because I was expecting this.
Yeah.
I was expecting us to be losing big time in this event. But I got to a point where I'm like, man, the fans must be like, what the hell? So I started putting my car in a little bit more precarious positions to try and block. But the thing is, I didn't know. The biggest things I didn't know was with these guys left. Their cars weighed twice as much as mine.
Yeah.
I didn't want to find out they weren't going to lift, and then
Exactly. Now these cars, compared to ours, we look like wind-up toys out there. But it was still
little
fun.
pedals.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to crank. But it was still fun. And I know that Shayla at one point, I had to go yell at her. I had to go yell at my girlfriend Shayla Zins in the number 2 car because she was getting out there and getting kind of bumped around a little bit, but then she would go bump into them, and the whole object for her car, especially her car, was to survive to get into the trailer race. And I saw her wheels getting hit, and I saw, you know, the front end getting hit and everything else, and I was starting to get ticked off.
Yeah.
So I went over and yelled at her, telling her to calm down. In doing so, I drove over there with no front tires, and
you described it as an old man with a walker
Exactly.
chasing after a teenage girl.
because she was going out there driving around me, and I'm just trying to catch up to her to tell her, slow it down.
Hey!
So, but it was a fun auto soccer, and
Yeah.
I think we learned a lot going into the next event.
Yeah, this was the second auto soccer we've ever done as a team, but it's the first one that we've ever brought to you on the low budgets.
Correct.
Tommy, if I wanted to round up auto soccer for me in one sentence, it's my fire extinguisher broke off its mount. There was a fire extinguisher mounted inside of the car. I got hit by the ball, I think, so hard that you'll actually see in the video, it breaks off and I had to hold the damn thing the entire event because otherwise it'd swing around in there and hit me. So I was ready to put out a fire the whole event.
And if I can describe it myself, my throttle cable broke. And that was Auto Soccer on Night of Destruction number 2 of 3. Now the Auto Soccer will return on Night of Destruction number 3, the finale. And who knows what cars we're gonna drive. It might be our trailer race cars, hopefully not. Hopefully. Thanks to Pick Your Part and
Yes.
Dan Bacella for allowing us to use their vehicles in the Auto Soccer, knowing that the chances of it coming back alive were slim to none, but that's kind of the reason why we use them. The ball has been dented officially, a brand new ball.
Yeah.
Dented and man, what's next?
Well, next up is the skid plate race. If you're enduro to see the first race, if you're looking to see the first race of Night of Destruction, you can find it in the description. It's the enduro. The next event coming up, the skid plate race.
Oh, so time to get into the pits now. We gotta get in the pits and put some plates on the back of our car. And not to eat off.